my sister that's closest to my oldest sister, she listened to a lot of hair metal, ironically enough. Yeah, so stuff like Poison and like Snake and Heart and stuff like that. So she would bring all that kind of stuff into the house, and that kind of like turned me on to listening to other things. I was like, oh, so if there's this, then there's this out here too as well. So my oldest sister was into like hip hop when we were younger. So she would bring in like 3 Times Dope. She would bring in, EPMD, stuff like that. So that turned me on and to wanting to listen to other stuff. And then I was listening to the samples that they used, and I was like, oh, well, where did this come from? So it was kind of like a musical education in that sense, especially with hip hop, because they used a lot of samples, a lot of soul samples.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu Der Soundtrack meines Lebens. Ich bin Jan Schwarzkamp und ich werde euch in diesem Podcast auf eine musikalische Reise mitnehmen. Eine durch das tönende und klingende Leben meiner Gäste. Mal nerdig, mal erhellend, immer persönlich. Ein Austausch über Popkultur im Allgemeinen und ein Blick aufs Leben durch die Linse der Musik im Speziellen. Viel Spaß mit der folgenden Episode. Zu Gast in dieser Episode von Der Soundtrack meines Lebens ist Curtis Harding. Harding kommt als Sohn einer Gospel-Sängerin und eines 27 Jahre älteren Mechanikers im Juni 1979 in Saginaw, Michigan zur Welt. Die Familie ist rastlos. Mit 3 Jahren zieht er nach Arizona, später nach Kalifornien, Texas und so weiter, bis die Familie mit Hardings 5 Geschwistern in Atlanta, Georgia sesshaft wird. Da ist er bereits im Teenageralter. Der sportinteressierte junge Mann unterstützt seine Mutter als Backing-Sängerin, wenn sie in Kirchen oder Obdachlosenheimen auftritt. Und erst seine Schwester, eine Amateur-Rapperin, eröffnet ihm die Welt der säkulären Musik. In den frühen 2000ern wird Harding selbst Rapper und Teil der Hip-Hop-Gruppe Ceet. Er trifft auf Sänger Cee-Lo Green, der Harding als Backing-Sänger engagiert. Die beiden bleiben sich für die kommenden 10 Jahre treu. 2008 zieht Harding nach Toronto. Er kauft sich eine Gitarre, beginnt Songs zu schreiben. 2009 zieht er zurück nach Atlanta. Gründet mit Mitgliedern der Black Lips und Night Beats das garage-rockige Soul-Projekt Night Sun. Ab 2013, da betritt er Solopfade, veröffentlicht 2014 sein Debütalbum Soul Power. Mit Departures and Arrivals, Adventures of Captain Kurt hat er zuletzt sein 4. Album vorgestellt, bei dem er zum 2. Mal auch als Produzent verantwortlich ist. Harding besitzt das Talent, klassischen Soul und R&B mit Gospel, Psychedelia und Rock zu vereinen. Und nun sitzt Curtis Harding mir gegenüber, ausnahmsweise mal nicht in meinem Wohnzimmer, sondern im Event Room des Michelberger Hotels. Und damit herzlich willkommen zum Podcast Der Soundtrack meines Lebens. Hi Curtis, I'm very happy you joined me in this.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So Curtis, what is your earliest music memory that comes to your mind from going way back from early childhood days?
I think watching my godfather play bass in church, and then watching him play at home, and also seeing my mother sing with him.
Yeah.
That's the earliest I can remember, I can recall.
So the bass, had it a certain effect on you? Is the bass, is the fundament of songs, it's the groove?
It's the groove, yeah. I think without the groove, then, like, if you have a bad drummer and a bad bass player, then your band is going to be terrible. You can have an okay guitar player.
Yeah.
I've said this in multiple interviews today, but it's true. Like, if your rhythm section is bad, then your band is not going to be that good.
Your mother, Dorothy, she's a gospel singer, and your dad, he's 27 years older than her, I think?
No, he's not that much older than her.
Okay, that's what I read on the interwebs.
Yeah, that's why the interwebs can be wrong.
Yeah.
We're here to set the record straight.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Good.
People out there?
So, but what music did they both listen to? What was the soundtrack that has been surrounded you when you were a child?
My mother played a lot of Consolers, a lot of Mahalia Jackson, gospel keynotes, the Williams brothers, the Soul Stirrers, Al Green. There's a lot of, like, my uncle had a singing group with Isaac Hayes, so I heard a lot of Isaac Hayes. My dad's from Hennings, Tennessee, by way of Memphis, so I heard a lot of B.B. King. I heard a lot of blues. I heard a lot of, a lot of that stuff in my early on childhood, a lot of Motown. That's what I heard when I was in my adolescent years.
Yeah. But probably the most popular gospel singer was New Orleans-born Mahalia Jackson. You just mentioned her. She's a total queen. From 1955 onwards until her death in 1972, she recorded countless records and a whole bunch even released post-mortem. Mahalia, did she had an influence on you?
I mean, I heard her so much, so it was, obviously a influence. And, I think my favorite song from Mahalia Jackson is Elijah Rock, the live version that was recorded here in Europe somewhere. I can't remember exactly where, but I love Mahalia Jackson's voice. My mother kind of sounds like her a little bit. I know that she's probably my mother's biggest influence.
Yeah. Can you explain what is so special about Mahalia?
I think it's just the energy and how she made people feel. She was obviously a great singer, but she sang with so much intensity that you could just feel it. And it's like, it's something to be said that when you don't need any musicians or anything to provoke an emotion. And that was her strength. She was able to provoke emotion. So I think that is the sign of ultimate singer, performer, is like when you can provoke emotion from someone.
Yeah. Loads of gospels are very traditional, having been interpreted by different artists over and over again. Do you have a favorite gospel song?
I wouldn't say there's so many. There are songs that come to mind. There's a song called Jesus, You've Been Good to Me by the Gospel Keynotes that I really like. There's a Soul Stirrers song when Sam Cooke was in the group that I really like. Jesus Gave Me Water. So there's loads of songs gospel songs that I like. I can't say that there's a number. If I was to pick one, it would be Elijah Rock by Mahalia Jackson, because I love that song.
I mean, when you were young, you sang the gospel with your mother, but when was the last time you did so? Do you sing in a gospel choir once in a while?
No, I really didn't sing. I was a drummer.
You were a drummer, okay?
Yeah. I played drums. So,
okay.
I rarely sang with my mom.
Yeah.
But I played drums while she sang and while I accompanied them as a musician.
Okay.
So that was my introduction into playing music.
But what made you pick the drums, or did your parents make you play the drums?
That was just natural. They were just there. I guess it intrigued me to see all these pieces of material and these sticks. You know, as a kid, you like to beat on stuff anyways, so it just kind of intrigued me. And then once I figured out that it was something to make music, make noise on, I was like, let's do this, let's try this. And then once I started figuring out, you have to be coordinated, you got to get your coordination together. So I think that was what intrigued me about the drums.
Yeah. And so then was there a point where you did get your own drum set then?
Yeah, there was always one in the churches that we went to.
Yeah.
And when I got older, I purchased a very bad set that was just like, it was like a Frankenstein set, just, pieced together from like a thrift store, actually. Because sometimes you could go they have these thrift stores in the States called Goodwill, where it's just like secondhand stuff where people drop things off that they don't want anymore. And there was this drums, it wasn't even a drum set, it was just pieces. So I just went and bought it. I think I paid like maybe $15 for the whole thing. Just kind of put it together, like the kick drum didn't even have like the back on it, the head of it. So it's just, it squeaked when I hit the foot pedal. But yeah, that was my first drum kit at home.
But being a drummer from the start, were there certain drummers that piqued your interest, that impressed you, that you thought like, oh, that's so cool what they are doing. I want to do that also.
Yeah, the guys in church, man, those are some of the best technical drummers that I've seen, like, and they're able to play anything. A lot of those guys would play at church, and then I didn't know because I was so young, but they would also be playing in clubs, like, at nighttime too. So that was just like their day job. So I would sit there and just watch them play, and then unbeknownst to me, they would be going to like the nightclubs and playing shows.
But you moved a lot until you were 14 years old. During that period, your mother sang in churches and homeless shelters. And at some point, it said that you started backing her. But you backed her with the drum kit then?
Yeah, with the drum kit. Yeah. And then like when we would go out on the streets, she would have like a karaoke machine, and she would be singing. And then she would, I would sing with my sisters. So me and my sisters would like do little songs and little raps that we did for like the homeless people. So, but I rarely sang with my mom.
But when did you realize that you have a good voice, that you could actually sing? There must have been a point at some point.
I'm still wondering that. Why? I think, man, like I'm not gonna say that I'm the best singer. Like technical ability to me is not that important. I think singing is about, again, provoking an emotion and being as honest as you possibly can. So all children sing, I think at some point, as adults, we just kind of stop. And I just kept going, man. To me, it's just about like, if I can hear the honesty, and if I feel honest, then you're doing something right. So, yeah.
In how far did all this moving from place to place and from state to state shape your perception and taste and maybe even knowledge about music?
Well, moving and meeting different people and being in different cities, you encounter different personalities, and you stumble upon different sounds, different smells, different grooves, different rhythms. People talk differently. There are different twangs, different slangs. You know what I'm saying? So I think all of that stuff kind of informs each other. And like once you mix it together, then you kind of create your own kind of a melting pot of just like originalness that becomes you ultimately. And the community that I'm from in Atlanta is like, you'll have punk musicians, you'll have hip hop people, you'll have metal musicians, and we all kind of hang out in the same places. So, yeah.
The interwebs told me that you have 5 siblings. That might not be true, but
yeah, I have 3 older sisters. I'm the youngest, and 2 older brothers. My oldest brother is deceased. So
okay. But normally siblings pollinate each other with their respective musical likenesses, especially when you've got older siblings.
Yeah.
So how was that with you?
Yeah, my sister that's closest to my oldest sister, she listened to a lot of hair metal, ironically enough. Yeah, so stuff like Poison and like Snake and Heart and stuff like that. So she would bring all that kind of stuff into the house, and that kind of like turned me on to listening to other things. I was like, oh, so if there's this, then there's this out here too as well. So my oldest sister was into like hip hop when we were younger. So she would bring in like 3 Times Dope. She would bring in, EPMD, stuff like that. So that turned me on and to wanting to listen to other stuff. And then I was listening to the samples that they used, and I was like, oh, well, where did this come from? So it was kind of like a musical education in that sense, especially with hip hop, because they used a lot of samples, a lot of soul samples. Yeah.
So I read that one of your sisters used to be an amateur rapper.
Yes.
And she introduced you to secular music. That's what the internet said, kind of. But I mean,
I think, well, secular music was just everywhere.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really an introduction. She had a group in high school, and they were in a bunch of talent shows, and they won this one talent show.
Yeah.
And they were on TV, and you know, they got a chance to like perform for a lot of people. But yeah, seeing that was inspirational, and because we thought she had made it, you know, as little kids, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that was just eye-opening in the sense that, oh, you can get on TV with this thing. Like, she was like a local celebrity for a while, so that was pretty cool. But secular music, quote unquote secular music, was everywhere. So I mean, you heard it in school, you heard it,
of course, and on the radio,
on TV, yeah. Like I'm from the MTV generation, so I grew up watching MTV.
Of course,
like the first video I remember watching was Sledgehammer. So you know, so that was like, it was crazy.
Yeah. So when it comes to rap, it's said that you are very keen on Lana Michelle Moura, better known as MC Lyte from New York.
That was my sister's favorite rapper. She actually sounded a lot like MC Lyte. Yeah.
Okay. So MC Lyte, she released her debut record, Light as a Rock, in 1988. Yeah. So what makes MC Lyte special to you? If she is special to you?
Oh, I like MC Lyte. She just her vocal tone, to me, like tone of voice and cadence was, and still is king to me in rap. Of course, it's like lyricism, but I think just like if you have a nice tone of voice, which is why Eric being Rakim, well, Rakim is one of my favorite rappers just because it's his tone. He was so laid back with his flow, but it was mainly like his tone and the way that he delivered his lines to me that, you know, that I got so connected to him. And she is the same way. She's just, you know, and feminine, female power, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, there are not that many female MCs around.
Exactly, and she was strong and she owned it. So that was very inspiring to see.
Yeah. But then again, you cherish a basic fundament. You already mentioned a couple of artists that played at home and that your parents listened to. You dig the folk and singer-songwritership of Bob Dylan, the blues of Albert King, and the fine harmonic pop of the Everly Brothers. What makes exactly those artists so special for you?
Well, with the Everly Brothers, is just how they just gelled together so well with those melodies, and just like the even just the simplicity in the lyrics that somehow seem complicated and clever at the same time. You know what I mean? Bob Dylan, of course, is a lyrical genius, and again, like, wasn't the most complicated guitar work, but just like his writing and sensibility is just groundbreaking. So yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
I mean, Bob Dylan, everybody says like, oh, he's not the best singer, and he's of course not the best guitarist.
Doesn't matter.
But he's a great lyricist.
Yeah,
everybody knows.
Yeah, amazing lyricist.
But when it comes to lyrics, is he someone you look up to, or are there like certain artists that you really dig for how they work with words?
Oh, most definitely. Bob Dylan is a giant to me. Yeah, his wordplay is amazing. To dance beneath a diamond sky with one hand waving free. It's, you know, just like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's so cinematic, and you just like, you can see the stars. You know what I'm saying? It's just like his wordplay was incredible. So yeah, Bob Dylan is definitely a huge inspiration to me as far as lyrics are concerned.
There's a certain universality when it comes to soul music. Is universality even a word? Did I make that up?
I think I don't know.
But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So no matter how old those classic soul songs are, they never wear off. What does soul music mean to you? What makes soul so special?
I think soul, to me, it's more than a category of music, and it more describes the soul of a person. You know what I'm saying? The experience. I think that you don't necessarily even have to be a singer or a musician to have soul. It helps, you know. But I think like you could be walking down the street and someone could be sitting down dressed finely or just have like a certain swagger about them. It's like that person has got some soul. You know what I mean? They may or may not be a musician, but you know, it's just it's an emotion. It's something that makes you feel. And I think that's what that's why when you do hear someone such as a Sam Cooke or James Brown, who's had a lot of life experience and they sing it, that's why you feel it, and that's why it is so. But the same could be said for like, you know, for punk, or like the same could be said for
the blues,
you know what I mean? Like, which is all derivative of each other, in my opinion, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, like it's no respect of genre soul.
But talking about soul, you have been named Curtis. Is it after Curtis Mayfield?
No, my father's name is Curtis.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a junior.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah. But there's a certain soul artist you especially like, or at least I read that on the interwebs. I don't know if it's true. You can enlighten me now. So it's Ronnie Dyson. He was born in Washington, D.C. in 1950 and died in New York in 1990. And he was never one of those big and popular artists. What makes Dyson so special to you?
I mean, I think just that you know, when I first stumbled upon him, I had never heard of him before. And then when I started listening to his music, I was like, wow, it's funny how some artists have such great music, but were never given the spotlight that these other ones were. So, you know, it's again, man, and there are many like that. There are many people that that have so much great music that were just never given the spotlight. I think it's just a matter of searching and trying to find that stuff.
Yeah.
But one of my biggest inspirations, and may he rest in peace, and I have to bring him up, is Sly Stone, because he recently passed.
Yeah.
So he's one of my biggest inspirations.
Yeah. I mean, what makes him? I mean, of course, it is known why he is so special, because he was political, but he was also uplifting. He was progressive. He had a mixed gender and a mixed race band.
Exactly.
But from your point of view, what makes Sly so special?
I think it's just the way that he was able to convey a message of love, hope, and still be edgy and still have a great sense of style, personality. You watch him in interviews. I don't know if he was high a lot. He probably was. But he was funny, you know what I mean? He was charismatic, great producer, started out in radio. Just the way he was able to like use his voice as well too. He could sing very low and then get very high, you know what I'm saying? And like a great performer. And again, like you said, like diversity, man. He had all types of people in his band, band from women to men, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just incredible to see, and just like the music was the soundtrack of an era, and still is a soundtrack to my life too. So it's just timeless music, man.
But how do you react when a legend like Sly dies? Is it that you kind of, is there a certain thing to celebrate?
Yeah, it's sad, but it's also a celebration because of the legacy that they have left behind, and I consider myself to be part of that legacy as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to us to keep his memory alive. Like Sly doesn't need me by any shape or form, but you know, I still feel a responsibility, especially when someone like him dies. And Brian Wilson, may he rest in peace too.
Yes,
another huge influence. Yeah. Like people like that, you know, who have put their heart and soul into music, and you can just hear the honesty and the beauty in what they do. It's our responsibility to bring them up whenever we can.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, it's the natural order of things.
Yeah, it is.
People at some point die, and I mean, they have been old, they have been through a lot. Yeah, exactly. That they didn't die older, that they didn't die in a younger age isn't even sometimes a wonder, kind of.
Exactly.
So we can be happy that
he lived a good life, man. They were both the same age, which is crazy, and they died within the same week. So it's really odd how that happens, man.
That you are into soul is obvious, but you're also an 80s kid, and you are a fan of the sound of that decade.
Oh, yeah, I love that stuff.
And especially one song you like a lot. That's 1984's Heaven by Bryan Adams.
Oh,
why is that?
I just think it's just like the quintessential like soft rock song. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just one of those songs, man.
Yeah.
And Bryan, I like his voice, and I remember the video when he ran into this Coliseum, and then all the audience was a group of like televisions with people on it. So I just remember it's just like a childhood memory that, you know, I can remember sitting watching MTV and seeing that video. But the song is cool too, man. You know, I have a tendency to write like really cheesy songs like that sometimes as well.
Yeah. But I try to find out if you ever covered Heaven by Bryan Adams.
No, I never have, but I'm not opposed to it. I may do it live for just cause I love that song.
I mean, you could like do a cool soul rendition.
I do it now. Oh, thinking about on our youngie. It's a great song, man. It was only you and me. We were young and wild and free. That's a good song, man.
Yeah. Maybe you can. I mean, you had Hedy Slimane taking photos of you for your cover. Maybe you could ask Bryan Adams as well, because he's a famous
he's a photographer now. Yeah, for sure. Maybe, you know.
So was there a certain point in your life where you made your own discoveries, bought your own records, where you like distanced maybe a little bit from your older siblings and like tried to find out your own stuff and like bring your own stuff home? And
most definitely, when I discovered Too Short and and NWA and stuff like that, I felt like I was doing something wrong. Two Live Crew, you know, like.
Okay.
So when I discovered
the nasty
stuff, I was like, oh wow, this is me. Yeah, I mean, I love this music, but yeah, man, it's it's just like that childhood curiosity. And then, but funny enough, like one of my mother's favorite songs is a Too Short song.
Okay.
It's a song called "The Ghetto" with Ellie DeVere singing "The Ghetto," dum 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 dum, talking about the ghetto. He's not saying anything nasty. He's just talking. He's actually saying a lot of positive stuff. But I was like, Mom, have you ever heard the rest of his work? She's like, I don't care. I like this song. But yeah, man, I've had the opportunity to meet Too Short too a couple times. He lives in Atlanta.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a cool guy.
Can you remember what the first record was that you bought for yourself?
It was Too Short.
Is it Too Short?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Too Short. Short the Pimp, and yeah, man, like it was such a crazy time. I was never able to play it in the house just because of the lyrical content, but yeah, it was Too Short, man. But
we are the same year, and as far as I remember, especially in the early 90s or also mid 90s, I did lots of mixtapes for friends and for myself, for the woman.
Yeah.
What about you? I mean, tapes and mixtapes were still like an important medium. Also getting tapes from other people that knew more than you. What about you? Did you ever have?
Well, I would, you know what I would do? Because in those days you would have to wait until they played it on the radio. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you wait till you hear the song and then hit record and then stop it and then wait till another song came on that you liked and then hit record again and then stop it. So that's what I would do. I didn't really have anybody that would give me mixtapes, but if I was around someone who had like a catalog of tapes, like I would go to my cousin's house and he had all the rap stuff. I would just like listen to it nonstop. Yeah. So yeah, but I would definitely discover music by going to my cousin's house and just like they also had this TV show. It wasn't a TV show. It was like a program called The Box, where you could call in and request a video, and it was like, I can't remember how much it cost. It was like maybe 50 cents or something. Okay. So I remember this one week, like we ran up a phone bill on The Box of maybe like $100 and got so in trouble because we were just ordering videos, just stuff that we wanted to see.
Videos for $100.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But did you visit your cousin regularly? Because I mean, your family was a traveling party for a lot of years. But
whenever we were in town, I would go to his house and I would like spend the night and just listen to all the tapes that he collected. And he would take me places. We'll go to his friend's house. They would have tapes. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, that's how I really got turned on to like different secular music that I wasn't allowed to have, you know.
But I mean, you went to lots of gospel concerts, if you might call it, or if you might call it.
Yeah.
But what about like your first real concert? Do you remember what that was?
My first real concert was Prince. So Prince, yeah.
How old have you been?
Man, I was like, how old was I? I think I was like 14.
Okay.
And then I saw him again. I saw him in Atlanta.
Yeah.
When I was like 30 something, and then I met him before I saw him again in Atlanta, in New York, with Cee-Lo. I was singing backup for Cee-Lo, and he was actually with Ananda, the VJ that recently passed as well too, and they were together. So that was a cool experience.
Did you dare talk to Prince?
Yeah, I met him.
Yeah.
He was really small.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
he is.
Yeah, but he was super. It was brief because you know he was with someone, and he had security obviously. So just like, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And he was really gracious, really nice.
Yeah. But how was it seeing him live when you were 14 or so?
It was mind blowing.
Yeah,
mind blowing, man. Like, I'd never seen anything like it. He was doing splits and like he was one of the best guitar players I have ever seen to this day.
Yeah. Like,
it was just incredible.
Yeah.
And even then he had just so many hits, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was mind blowing.
Yeah. In 1993, so the year you turned 40, your family finally settles down in Atlanta. And that is a city that has played a profound role in shaping different American genres of music, may it be country, southern rock, hip-hop, or its subgenre crunk.
Yeah.
How did your musical life look like when you finally arrived in Atlanta? How did you become part of the city's music scene?
Started hanging out at different places where it was happening. I was a big fan of Outkast and the Dungeon Family.
Yeah.
So I started trying to make my way into the scene there and try to figure out where would they be playing next. And ultimately, I ended up getting a job with a friend of mine doing street promotions for LaFace Records, who they were a part of. And through that connection, being able to be in like the clubs and the parties with them, I became friends with a couple of the guys and met Cee-Lo ultimately, and met Dre too. And that led to us being invited to the studio. And that's how I started, performing and writing with Cee-Lo Green.
Yeah.
Goody Mob.
But before you met Cee-Lo, you already were part of a hip-hop group called Proceed, right?
So that's the friend that I mentioned.
Okay.
We both were just like actively trying to become the next thing out of Atlanta as rappers, you know? So yeah, we had the group, we recorded some stuff.
But that can't be found on the interwebs. I tried. I didn't find anything on Proceed.
Yeah, you probably won't.
So was it any good, or are you happy that it is not on the internet?
Some of it was okay, but it's just like with anything that's in its infancy, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I mean, you have been 2021, so
right, yeah, exactly. You're just like, you're learning, so I am kind of glad that it's not out there. I haven't heard anything either. I recently found a old CD that has some of that stuff on it. Because it's a CD. It was like used to burn a CD.
You used to burn a CD, stand on the street corner and give them away to people, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I found an old CD with some of that stuff on it. And it's kind of scratched up.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how to, revise it and bring it back to life, because it would be interesting to hear, the evolution of me then, me now. But yeah, I remember some of those raps and that time.
But when you started out working with Cee-Lo Green, I read that you appear as a rapper on his debut album with a couple of other guys from Proceed. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, it was just me.
Because I couldn't find any credits linked to your name when it comes to that record.
So my rap name in those days, Are you ready for this?
Okay.
I had a rap name.
Okay.
It was Kirkland Underwater. So if you look on Cee-Lo Green's first record and you see Kirkland Underwater, that's me. Yep.
Okay.
And I sang backup under my name, Curtis Harding, on some of the singles. So yeah.
But with Cee-Lo, you met somebody who is more than just a guy from the hip hop scene, but he's also a brilliant soul singer, and he has a very distinctive voice.
Yeah.
And you stick with him for almost 10 years, if I'm not wrong, working with him, being on tour with him. What did you learn in those kind of formative years, if you will?
Yeah, it really was. I look at it as we obviously have like a good friendship, and I consider him to be a brother. But I learned a lot about songwriting.
Yeah.
How to sing songs. You know what I'm saying? Like how to truly sing songs. I learned about how to work in the studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and just like timing. You know what I'm saying? And that to me, like song structure, timing, and how to sing songs has been very helpful in the cultivation of my music as well too.
Can you do you know what he saw in you when he met you doing on the scene? Did he see you perform, and was he convinced, or did you just like?
So we almost kind of did. So they have these things like, you know, hip hop. Sometimes you have like freestyle sessions, and you would just like get in a group and you just start rapping and freestyling. So we did that a couple times, and I would imagine that he saw some talent and some potential, and he gave us the invitation to come out to the studio. And we just started working. And I've always kind of had a knack for words, because I was into just like a lot of lyricists, such as Rakim and Melly Mel and these old school rappers, man. So I've always had a knack for words. And I was a fan of, like, again, tone. So it's just like, also I had a particular tone of voice because I was trying to emulate these guys that I grew up listening to. Yeah. So I think he kind of recognized that, and he saw that if he put some work and some work into us, man, that maybe I'd have a shot. So he gave us a shot.
And the cool thing is that when you started working with him and started touring with him and recording with him, you also toured with legends. I mean, you toured with Outkast, Cypress Hill, Lauryn Hill, The Roots.
Yeah.
That
must
have
incredible.
been a dream come true.
It was. It completely was. I felt like I was in a dream, like every day waking up and like being on stage, the same stage as they were. For that to be like my first tour to ever go on like that was crazy, and it gave me kind of like a delusional perception of what tour was, because then you go from that, and then it's like you start doing your own stuff, and you're like in a tiny van,
tiny van and a tiny club,
right? Exactly. So, but it was incredible, man, and just seeing like that on that level, like, because they're literally like, those guys were like my heroes, man. And it was just a beautiful thing to be a part of, and it's still to this day a great memory that I think of from time to time.
In 2008, you moved almost 1,000 miles away from Atlanta to Toronto.
Yeah.
You stayed for about a year and got yourself a guitar. So why did you pick Toronto? What made you move to Toronto?
Well, I had a friend that was living in Atlanta that I didn't know that he was actually Canadian, and he had overstayed his visa there for like years, actually. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So he went back, and I was like looking for a change because I had been doing a little too much partying at that time. Cee-Lo had Gnarls Barkley, and he was becoming really successful off of that. And I was like going on tour with him, doing a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs and stuff, man. So I was like, I need to actually reset and figure out exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. And I had never lived outside of America at that point. So the next best thing to me was Canada, Toronto. It was close. I had a friend there. So I was like, I'm going to go. Yeah. So I moved to Canada. He got me a job. He was actually living in a frat house. Like he had a room in this frat house that he wasn't even a part of. He was just renting this room. So he let me sleep in his room for a second. Then he got me a job at this Italian restaurant that he was working in as a bar back. And so I did that for a while. Then when I had enough money to get my own room, I did that. And then when I had enough money to buy me a guitar, I went to a pawn shop, bought me an old Stella, and I started teaching myself how to really play guitar. And that's how I started like writing the first songs for Soul Power, was there.
But when you returned from Canada, at first you founded a band project named Night Sun in 2009. And for that you teamed up with Cole Alexander and Joe Bradley from the Black Lips and Danny Lee Blackwell from Night Beats. How did you know those, kind of garage rock guys?
Well, so there was this local bar in Atlanta that I had always heard about the Black Lips. Just from
they were notorious.
Yeah, exactly. From just being in Atlanta and just kind of being around the scene. And there's this local bar that we all used to go to, and Cole was there DJing and playing like these old 45 gospel records. And he had a lot of the records that my mom used to play. And I just walked up to him. I was like, bro, where did you get these records from? How do you know? He was like, man, I love this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it was just so ironic that in a bar where everyone's drinking, getting like completely inebriated, that we're listening to like gospel music. And I was like, man, you're my type of dude. He was like, man, that's cool. So I turned him on because I had some of my mom's, I still have some of my mom's like old records and 45s. I turned him on some gospel stuff that he had never heard, man. And he was like, man, that's cool. I was like, bro, we should get together at some point, and do something. And we did. Like, we kept in contact, man, and we just started hanging out and, formed a band.
but sadly, Night Sun only released one 7-inch via notorious label Burger Records 5 years after their inception. How did that come about, and why is that the only thing available by Night Sun?
I think because we just never finished the project. So that's really just what it was, man. Like Cole had obviously the Black Lips, and Danny had the Night Beats, and they were like constantly touring all the time in those days. And I had aspirations to kind of do like a solo thing, which I did. Again, I was already like writing songs for my solo project when I was in Canada. So I had like all this material. But we just never finished it, you know what I mean? Okay. We still have songs that I actually have to this day that we might put out at some point. But I think now we got enough material where we could put something out. But
But the first thing that is credited to your name is a song you co-wrote with Cee-Lo. It's called Grand Canyon, and it's the B-side of the hit single Fuck You in 2010. So what's the story behind that song? A delicate soul song with mainly acoustic arrangement.
Yeah, I just did the acoustic part of it, man. And he sang wrote the melody and sang the tune.
Yeah.
So that was as simple as that, man. Put it out, and I was super excited because I was like, wow, this is amazing. I got my first writing credit.
Finally.
Yeah, exactly.
But in October 17th, 2013, you launched your solo career with a cassette single for the song Keep on Shining. You produced it yourself, and it's the debut under your name.
Yep.
How did that first business card of Curtis Harding come about? Because it's again released on Burger Records,
but released on Burger Records.
At first only on tape.
Yeah, well, we thought it would just be cool just to put it on tape. Yeah. We're just like, let's just put it out on tape and make it kind of hard to find. Yeah. Like you gotta actually want this really, really bad in order to get it.
Yeah.
So we just thought that was cool, man. But I got the Burger connection because of like Danny and Cole and them just going out to California all the time on tours. I would just hop in the van with them sometimes and just go. And and my friend Randy Michael, who co-wrote that song with me, he did the music. he had the music already, and he was like, yo, I got this tune that I feel like you could write something to. So I did. And then ultimately it ended up being like the first single off of that album. And it kind of spawned the rest of me, the rest of the material that I already had for the rest of the album.
Yeah. On May 20th, 2014, your debut album Soul Power sees the light of day.
Yeah. Finally.
And there's a curiosity as the song I Don't Want to Go Home that you co-wrote with Jared Swilley from the Black Lips appeared also on their 2014 album Underneath the Rainbow.
Yep.
So was it planned that way? Did you both fall in love with that song that you both thought, okay, it's...
Yeah, and we thought it would be cool because, like, you know, there was a time when artists did that. They would, like, record a tune and then, like, somebody else would cover that tune and put it on their record, too. So it was like, dude, why the fuck not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we thought it would be cool and to have both of our versions. We also had, like, a friendly competition, like, let's see which one does the best. You know what I mean? Let's see who does the best. So, but I like both versions a lot. Mine is still better.
But the title Soul Power is kind of very obvious. Did you want to help record store owners where to sort your album?
Did I want to say it again? I'm sorry.
Did you want to help record store owners where to sort your album, put it in the store?
Well, what the title Soul Power, because there's not even a song on the record called Soul Power, but I do have a song that I wrote called Soul Power. And I was like, if I put the song Soul Power on the album, I think it would probably have less of an effect than if I just named the record Soul Power. And honestly, like, it's on that album, I'm genre bending so much.
Yeah.
There's like garage, there's a house, not a house, but a disco song on the record. So I just felt like Soul Power spoke more about like the energy to do what you want and to keep going, as opposed to like the style of music.
Yeah.
But it kind of helped them put it in the soul category, I guess, you know?
Yeah. And you produced the debut album yourself. Mm-hmm. But for the second album, Face Your Fear, you could win over Brian Burton, alias Danger Mouse.
Yes.
And he worked with Portugal the Man, the Black Keys, Norah Jones, Joss Stone, U2, and obviously Gnarls Barkley.
Yeah.
So how is it working with him, and what makes him so special? What is his talent?
I think Brian's talent is being able to facilitate things and just like his sensibility. He has like a great ear. He knows how to take away things as opposed to like making shit super complicated. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And just like how he pieces other music together. I know we all know the infamous Grey album that he did with Jay-Z and like the Beatles. Like, so he not only can do that as a producer, but he can arrange like great just like rock tunes and, you know what I'm saying? Great pop sensibility as well too, man. So I think that's his strength, man. It's just like his sensibility and his ear for just like, oh, that's nice. Mm-hmm. And just like the little things, like little bells, ding, ding, you know what I mean? Like just little stuff like that. It's like, oh, that's really catchy. So yeah, that's what I learned from Brian, man. It's just like sensibility.
And he's as genre bending as you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like Gnarls Barkley, one of the greatest groups ever. I wish they would do something else. I wish they would put something else out.
Well, ask them.
You guys need to put something else out. Get back together soon.
So a song I especially liked of Face Your Fear is the psychedelic soul of Go As You Are. Can you remember how that psych jam came to life?
Yeah, I was staying at my mother's house in Atlanta. I was like sleeping on the sofa. And I just had like my computer and, you know, the little Focusrite thing. And I had like this drum loop, and I just started playing like these simple chords with the wah pedal. But in my mind, I was just really thinking about at that point where I had been and what I was doing, you know what I mean? And just like certain situations. I talk about a relationship that I was in and how, you know, the only thing I can see is like the door. I talk about a situation when I was inebriated in a bar and the bartender was like, you got to go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it just, to me, it was just like, go as you are, you know what I mean? But don't come back here ever again like that. You know what I mean? Like you can leave, but just don't come back the same. You know what I mean? So that's how that happened, man.
But I really love soul and I really love psychedelic. For a brief moment in time during the end of the 60s, early 70s, it was kind of en vogue for certain soul artists to psych up a little. So then the Temptations did so with a Psychedelic Shack or Ball of Confusion. The Jackson 5 with their song Can I See You in the Morning, or Minnie Riperton in Les Fleurs, or Al Green covering The Doors' Light My Fire. There's Barbara and Ernie and Eddie Harris and Funkadelic, obviously.
Yes, great.
Are you into the psychedelic side of soul?
Most definitely. I think it's definitely has played a huge part in influencing me to have the courage to be as psychedelic as I am. You know, I'm not gonna say I'm extremely psychedelic, but you know, it's like
but to punctuate.
Yeah, exactly. So. Psychedelic sensibly. Sensibly psychedelic. How about that?
But the title for your next record.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There we go. Sensibly psychedelic.
But you probably got asked that a lot. But just to make this talk more complete, you describe your own style of music as slop and soul. So what do you mean with that?
Well, it was really just a play of words, man, because I think I was thinking about Cosmic Slop, Parliament, you know what I'm saying? Funkadelic, that record. And just how it's funky, man. They were asking me to describe my music, and I was like, it's kind of funky, it flows, it's runny, sometimes it's sloppy. And this was like in the infancy of my career. And it really was like, because I was amateur guitar player, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I still felt like that we would groove on stage. So like, Slop and Soul just sounded really good, you know what I mean? And it felt really good at the time. It's almost the same as just like, you know, the funk.
But also, if the slop means sloppy, you can maybe also like, if you give it away, you can like hide your flaws behind the, hey, I told you.
Exactly. There you go.
But now your fourth album has arrived, Departures and Rivals, Adventures of Captain Curd. And that connects rich string arrangements, baroque pop, a bit of psych again with your soul fundament. And I don't know if you can call it a concept album, but the overall theme is about a pilot that is kind of lost in space. What inspired you in creating such a story or such a topic for it?
Well, honestly, after just like recording the bulk of the material and listening back to the lyrics, there was a recurring theme of just like being out in the dark, just the distance of home and trying to get back in space and time and all this stuff. And it kept coming up in the lyrics. So I was like, there's kind of like a concept here. You know what I'm saying? Even with Running Out of Space and Heart of Stone, you know what I mean? Like, there's a recurring theme of just like a longing and just trying to get back. So that's where it came from. I didn't go into it trying to make a concept record. I just felt like it was what it is now, you know what I'm saying, by itself. So it's very organic.
But on the cover, you can see the deck of a spaceship with, I think you or
you
cartoon version of you.
It's me. It's an actual photo. It's just it's a spaceship that we found.
But where did you find a spaceship?
It's a movie set.
Okay.
So, a movie set in LA, man.
Okay.
So me and my friend Matt, who takes most of my photos, he's in a band called the Alalas, but he's also a great photographer. A great drummer. So we found this movie set, and he was like, dude, let's just take some pictures here. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the photos, and I was like, we can use this for the album cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a science fiction fan?
I am.
Yeah. So what are your favorite movies or books when it comes to science fiction?
I really like the Dune series. I just really read that book. It's so big. It took me a long time to finish it.
Yeah.
I think some of my favorite films are like the Alien series. I love like Ridley Scott and just the older Alien stuff particularly. I actually like the new Romulus film as well too. But I like how they use, as opposed to using like CGI, they use like an actual person in the suit. You know what I'm saying? It just makes it more real to me. I like, it's all kind of stuff, man. I like that old David Bowie movie, The Man Who Fell to Earth, which recently became a new series, which is really cool. So I'm into all that stuff, man. Super inspiring. It kind of helped me to have the courage to do my project. It was like, shit, if they can do it, I can do it too. But I can do it in a musical sense. You know what I mean?
But and then again, when I heard about the topic of your recent record, I thought I had to think of Major Tom by David Bowie, because it is about an astronaut kind of being lost in space.
Exactly.
But is there
Elton John, Rocket Man?
But is there a science fiction based album that you can recommend that comes to your mind?
That one in particular, yes. And then just like even all the stuff that Sun Ra did and Parliament Funkadelic, Space is the Place, like, you know what I mean? Like, it only makes sense, man. It's just like, to me, just like it's just was kind of a continuation of what I knew that they did. It's just like my take on it. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's the Curtis Harding way. But yeah, it wasn't that far-fetched of an idea to me. It's fun. I enjoy that kind of stuff. So,
thank you very much. So, Curtis, that's it. Thanks a lot for the insightful talk.
Beautiful, man. I appreciate it, dude.
Liebe Zuhörerinnen, Zuhörer und alle irgendwo dazwischen, wer auf dem Laufenden bleiben möchte und neugierig ist, in welcher Situation das Gespräch stattgefunden hat, darf gerne den Instagram-Kanal des Visions-Magazins abonnieren oder meinen persönlichen unter Jan Schwarzkamp, am liebsten natürlich beide. Und wer das Online-Abo von Visions Plus abschließt, kann den Podcast außerdem immer schon exklusiv vorab hören. Bleibt gesund, bleibt mir treu und dann hören wir uns hoffentlich bei der nächsten Episode von Der Soundtrack meines Lebens wieder. Bis dahin, euer Jan Schwarzkamp.